Hey everyone. Before we dive into today's story, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment letting me know where you're watching from and what time it is there. It really helps YouTube recommend more stories like this one to you. Alright, let's jump right in.
The second I noticed the chip on the mirror frame, I knew something was wrong. It wasn't huge, just a tiny dent on the top right corner of the wooden border, but I recognized it instantly. Because my bedroom mirror had the same exact chip, same shape, same spot, and I had no reason to be looking at it from across someone else's bed. I was still lying in his sheets when I saw it. Gray, a little wrinkled, smelling like old laundry detergent. A strip of morning sun cut through the curtain, lighting up the mirror across from the bed. For a second, my brain didn't clock anything weird. I was hungover, groggy. My body ached from bad sleep and too much wine. But then I squinted at the reflection again, and something in me clenched. The mirror. The frame. That chipped out identical. I sat up slowly, trying not to breathe too loud. The guy Noah, I think, was still passed out next to me. Mouth open, one arm flopped off the bed. We'd matched on Tinder 2 weeks ago, finally met up last night for dinner and drinks. He was cute, polite, and honestly, a little boring. But I hadn't been on a date in months, and I was lonely. Somewhere between the third glass of wine and the Uber back, things blurred. I barely remembered coming inside. His place had seemed nice, sparse, generic in a clean kind of way, but the mirror wasn't generic. I stared at it, heart thudding harder with each second. The frame was dark wood, worn, something I'd gotten at a flea market with my roommate last year. I'd always liked that little chip, it made it feel vintage. Now it was staring back at me. In someone else's bedroom. I slid out of bed carefully and crossed the room. The floor was cold, carpeted. I reached out, touched the chip. Same splintered edge. I flipped the frame to check the back, same peeling sticker from the cellar. This was my mirror. I turned slowly. Scanned the room. Pale gray walls. Neutral artwork. White dresser. There was a coat on the back of the door, my coat. My beat-up tan hoodie. The one I wore almost every day, but had definitely left at home yesterday. Panic tightened in my throat. I turned toward the closet and opened it. A few shirts on hangers. A box of random cords. Folded towels. Then, on the top shelf, my old Polaroid camera. The one I lost 3 months ago. I stepped back, shaking. My legs felt weak. I started grabbing clothes, hunting for my phone. My bag was on the floor by the dresser, unzipped, messy. I swore I'd zipped it last night. Inside, my wallet was there, but my phone was missing. I tried not to scream. "Noah," I said, quietly at first, then louder. "Hey Noah." He stirred, grunted. "Where's my phone?" He rubbed his eyes. "What?" "My phone," I repeated, already scanning the nightstand. "I need it." He sat up slowly, eyes bleary. "I don't know. You had it last night." "I need to go," I said, pulling on jeans. "I think I left something at home." "You can chill," he said. "I'll help you look." I ignored him and headed toward the door. When I grabbed the knob, it didn't turn. I tried again, harder this time. It rattled but stayed locked. "What the fuck?" I whispered. "Oh yeah, sorry," Noah said, standing up behind me. "It sticks. You have to jiggle it a little." He walked over, brushed past me, and twisted the knob sharply. It clicked open. "See?" he said with a grin. Old door. I didn't say anything. I just left the room, heart pounding louder than my footsteps. I needed to get out. Get home. Call someone. Anyone. The hallway outside was dim. Carpeted, with 3 closed doors and a small table holding a fake plant. A mirror on the wall. I stopped. That mirror too. Same frame. Same chip. My skin went cold. I ran down the stairs without saying another word, found the front door, and yanked it open. Sunlight, cold air, freedom. I didn't even look back as I ran to the end of the driveway and checked the street signs. My stomach dropped. This wasn't his neighborhood. This was mine. Same street name, same house number. But I didn't know this house. I'd never seen it before. I walked fast, turned the corner, and pulled out my emergency backup phone from my bag. The old one I kept dead at the bottom for emergencies. Thankfully, it had a little charge left. I called my roommate. "Hello?" She answered. "Rachel," I said, breathing fast. "Can you check the mirror in my room right now? Just go look, please." There was silence. "Okay," she said slowly. "Why? Just check. Describe it to me." I heard her footsteps. Then, "It's not here." "What?" "The mirror. It's gone. There's just a nail in the wall." I felt like the sidewalk tilted under me. "And your hoodie," she added. "Did you take it with you? I thought you left it on the chair." "Rachel," I said quietly, "lock all the doors. Right now. Don't open for anyone." "What's going on?" "I don't know," I said, "but I think someone's been in our house." I kept walking fast without any idea where to go. Every house on the block suddenly felt hostile. Too quiet. Too still. The kind of stillness that makes you think someone's watching from behind closed blinds. My backup phone buzzed in my hand. Rachel texting. "Rachel, I locked everything. What do I do? Where are you?" I didn't answer. I couldn't explain any of it yet. I didn't even understand it myself. I kept replaying the bedroom in my head, my mirror on his wall, my hoodie hanging on his door, my Polaroid tucked in his closet, like he'd been collecting pieces of me, and I slept there. I actually slept next to him. A cold wave washed over me as I cut through the neighborhood. I didn't even know where I was going until I saw a familiar corner store. My hands were shaking when I ducked inside. The bell on the door jingled too loud, like it was announcing me. The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead. I grabbed a bottle of water and pressed it against my neck. I needed the cold. Something real. Something that reminded me I wasn't losing my mind, because that feeling, that creeping sense that the world had quietly shifted around me was getting stronger. I sat down at one of the tiny tables near the window. Only one other person was inside, the cashier, a teenage guy who looked half asleep. I tried to breathe. Tried to think logically. Maybe I left my mirror at some repair shop and forgot. Maybe my roommate moved things around. Maybe no. I wasn't going to gaslight myself over something this obvious. My mirror was stolen. My hoodie was stolen. My camera was stolen. And I had slept in a stranger's house who lived on my same street, but in a house I'd never even noticed before. My backup phone buzzed again. Rachel calling. I answered this time, whispering, "Are the doors locked?" "Yes," she said. "What is going on? Why are you whispering?" "Because I don't know if he followed me," I said. "Or if he was already in our house before last night." "What? Who?" "Noah, the guy from Tinder." There was silence on the line. "You barely know him," she said. "You've been on one date." "I know," I said. "And he had my stuff." "Rachel, he had my mirror, my hoodie, my camera. How would he get those?" "I don't know," I said. My voice cracked. "But I'm coming home. Don't open the door, okay? Not even if it's me. I'll call when I'm outside." She agreed and hung up. I stood, threw a few crumpled bills on the counter for the water, and walked back outside. The air felt colder now, like the temperature had dropped suddenly. Cloudy. The sky had gone that flat gray that makes it hard to tell what time it is. I kept my head down and speed walked the whole way home, checking behind me every block. I didn't see Noah. I didn't see anyone, actually, which somehow made it worse. When I reached my apartment building, I called Rachel and told her to open the door only after I knocked 3 times. She did, and she practically dragged me inside. She locked the door immediately. "Show me," she said. I went straight to my room. The empty nail on the wall stared at me like a missing tooth. My hoodie wasn't on the chair. The camera wasn't on my shelf. "He's been in here," I whispered. "He's been inside our apartment when we weren't home." Rachel backed away slowly. "We need to call the police." Before I could answer, a sound came from down the hall. A soft, slow creak. Both of us froze. "Is that the back door?" she whispered. I shook my head. It sounded like something inside the house. Another creak, closer. The hallway felt like it was shrinking. The quiet was thick and heavy, like the air itself didn't want to move. Rachel grabbed her phone with shaking hands. I took a step toward the hall. "Don't," she whispered, but I couldn't help myself. I needed to know. I peeked around the corner. Nothing. Just the hallway leading to the bathroom and the laundry closet. The bathroom door was slightly open. I didn't remember leaving it like that. I pulled out my phone and used the dim flashlight. Every instinct in my body was screaming, don't look, just leave. Run, but I pushed the bathroom door open. Anyway, empty. The mirror above the sink reflected my terrified face, pale and sweating. I stepped closer, staring into it, trying to ground myself, trying to prove I wasn't imagining things. Then I noticed something in the corner of the reflection, a small, dark smudge on the wall behind me. I spun around. A camera lens, a tiny, black pinhole camera tucked behind a fake air freshener clipped to the wall. My stomach lurched. I stumbled backward so hard I hit the sink. "Rachel!" I screamed. "He put cameras in here." She ran in and gasped. "Oh my God." I ripped it off the wall. It left a small strip of torn paint where it had been glued. I checked behind the mirror next. Nothing. But the idea of him possibly having watched me for months made me feel sick. "We're leaving," I said. My voice was shaking. "Grab your stuff. Right now." We rushed around the apartment, shoving essentials into bags. I checked the windows. They were all locked from the inside. 2 locked. As if someone had checked them recently. We were at the front door when Rachel said, "Your phone." The real one. "Did you check Find My?" I froze. Of course. My actual phone had been taken. Maybe it was still nearby. I opened the app on my backup phone. The spinning wheel took forever. Then the map loaded. My phone was still in this neighborhood. Still on our street. Still inside our building. A tiny blue dot pulsing right on top of. I zoomed in. My apartment. "Rachel," I whispered. "It says my phone is inside." "I don't see it," she said. "It's not here." Then a realization hit me so hard I felt dizzy. The laundry closet. I opened Find My again and tapped play sound. A small beep echoed through the hallway. Not from the living room. Not from my bedroom. Not from Rachel's room. From the laundry closet. I reached for the knob with shaking fingers and pulled the door open. The smell hit me, first fabric softener and dust. Then I saw it. My phone was sitting on top of the dryer. Screen cracked slightly. But that wasn't the part that made me feel like my lungs collapsed. Behind the dryer, wedged between the machine and the wall, was a small pillow, a water bottle, and a blanket. Like someone had been hiding there. Sleeping there. Watching us. I backed away so fast I nearly fell. "He was in here," I whispered. "He was in here last night. Maybe longer." Rachel covered her mouth. Before either of us could speak, there was a soft knock at the front door. 3 short taps. Just like I'd told Rachel to do earlier. My entire body went numb. The peephole was right there. But I didn't want to look. I didn't want to see his face staring back. Rachel grabbed my arm. "Don't open it." Another knock. 3 taps. Same rhythm. Same pressure. Then a calm voice on the other side. "Hey, you left your phone at my place." "No, I dot my skin crawled. Sorry if I scared you earlier," he said. His voice was too cheerful, too smooth. "I saw you run off and I thought, maybe you were having a rough morning." He paused. "I wanted to return your stuff. You left more than just your phone." I grabbed Rachel and mouthed, "Call 911. She nodded and stepped back quietly. Noah continued talking through the door, completely casual. "It's funny," he said. "When you came over, you walked right past my other mirror. Same frame as yours. You didn't notice that one though." I stared at the door, unable to breathe. "You didn't even notice the picture of us, that double quotes picture?" "I have dozens," he said softly. "From all the times I saw you before we matched." Rachel's eyes went wide. "When you went to that flea market," he said. "When you tried on that hoodie. When you bought that Polaroid camera and took a test picture. You didn't see me then. But I saw you." He waited. I felt like the world was tilting. "Hey," he said, almost whispering now. "Can you open the door? I don't like feeling shut out." The police sirens in the distance were the only thing that kept me from collapsing. Noah's voice changed instantly, sharper. "Really?" he said through clenched teeth. "You called them? After everything I've done for you?" The doorknob twitched. Once, hard, Rachel and I backed away, gripping each other's arms. "I'll see you soon," he whispered. "This isn't over." Then the hallway went silent. By the time the police arrived, he was gone. Completely vanished. No footprints. No sign of forced entry. No evidence he'd ever been inside, except for my mirror. My clothes. My camera. The pillow behind the dryer. They filed a report. Told me to stay with a friend. Keep doors locked. Be observant. But the thing is, I haven't slept since that night, because every time I close my eyes, I see that mirror. My mirror, the one he took. The one he replaced without me noticing. I bought a new one to try and move on. Hung it on a different wall. Different frame. Clean edges. Nothing chipped. But last night, when I woke up around 3 a.m., something caught my eye. The mirror. A tiny chip on the top right corner. Same shape. Same spot. A faint, familiar dent that wasn't there before. And somewhere in the apartment, I swear I heard 3 soft taps on the wall, like he was telling me he found a new way in. The minute I took off my hoodie in his apartment, I felt exposed. We'd matched on Tinder a little over a week ago. Fun texts, upbeat vibes, then dinner, then his place. It seemed safe, calm, friendly. But now, standing in his living room in the soft half-light, I suddenly felt every part of me vulnerable. He smiled as I slipped the hoodie off. "Nice tattoo," he said casually. I froze. Heart tipping sideways. Because I didn't have a visible tattoo, I hesitated. "Under the clothes," he continued, pointing where my shirt rode up slightly when I stretched. "Right there. By your ribs." My breath paused. My mind spun. "You're joking, right?" I said, brushing a bit of hair back, trying to laugh it off. He tilted his head, his eyes sharper now. "No joke, I saw it in your photo." His tone was calm, but the air dropped. "Right after you took the picture in the mirror." I blinked. The mirror photo. That one I'd posted the week before. In my room. I'd worn a plain white tee and jeans, took a selfie under soft light. I didn't think anything of it. Now I did. I raised my arm as though showing him I didn't have anything. My shirt lifted. There was nothing there. "I don't have a tattoo." He sat back and smiled, but it wasn't friendly. "You must have taken it off or hidden it. You're good at hiding things." I felt cold. How would he know? Why would he mention it? The room seemed smaller. The air heavier. The light warm but unwelcoming. Maybe I did. I heard myself say, though I didn't mean to. My voice sounded thin. He got up and walked toward the window, turned on the balcony light. He looked out, then turned to me. "I thought you might," he said quietly. "When you answered the door, I noticed it. The shape. The faint outline. I've been looking for it." He paused, looked at me, his expression almost wistful. "Why?" I said, my hands pressed against my jeans. "Why do you care?" He came back and sat on the couch. "Because you're interesting," he said. "Because I liked the picture. And then I noticed you hid something. I like hidden things. They tell stories." My stomach churned. I forced a smile. "Well, there's nothing hidden." He nodded slowly. "Okay, that's fair." He leaned in close. "But if you did," he said, "you could trust me." He reached out and touched my forearm lightly. The touch was warm, but his fingers lingered. "I'd like to see it." His voice was low, casual, friendly again. My heart was pounding. I realized I was trapped in the middle of a normal conversation that felt wrong. I should leave. I should say goodbye. But I couldn't. His presence held me. "I should go," I said finally. "It's getting late." "No," he said, standing. "Stay." He grabbed a bottle of wine from the low table and poured 2 glasses. "Trust me a little." "Show me." I slid on the couch. The wine tasted good, smooth, but it felt like poison. I drank slowly. He asked me about my job, my family, the tattoo again. I didn't answer. The light above flickered faintly. Outside, a car horn beeped. I heard the hum of the fridge behind me, the faint creak of the floor under his foot. Then he stood. "I have something to show you." He disappeared into another room. I watched the door close, then heard a soft shuffle, a click. He returned with a small square metal box. He set it on the coffee table. "What's that?" I asked. "Something from me," he said. He opened the box. Inside was a thin black cap, like for a camera lens, and a folded Polaroid. He flipped it out. In the photo was a wall shot, my room's mirror, my bed, my dresser, my shirt hanging on the chair. A mirror reflection of me sitting in my bed, hair tied back, shirt riding up slightly. The flicker caught the edge of a dark shape on my ribs. Just a faint hint, and I hadn't noticed it myself. I gasped. "How did you?" He held up the camera cap. "I found it at your house." "And this," he said, tapping the Polaroid, "is me." I took the picture. My blood froze. I reached for my phone, wanted to call someone, but he pressed his hand lightly on my arm. "Don't," he said quietly. "Let's just talk." I pulled back. What the hell is going on? His eyes didn't look angry. They looked sad. "I've been trying to get close. I thought we had something. I thought you might let me in." I felt tears, relief, fear, bile. I unraveled. "You broke into my house?" He shook his head. "Not exactly. I visited. At night." He swallowed. "When you weren't home." Desire to vomit. I stood. "You're stalking me." He stood too. He looked smaller now, vulnerable. "I'm not a stalker," he said. "I'm someone who cares." The flicker in the room intensified, like blinking thrice. I stepped toward the door. "I'm leaving." He followed. "Wait." He closed the space between us. He held a hand out. "There's a reason I asked about your tattoo. Because I saw it once, and I want to see it again. And I thought maybe you'd want someone to see it too." I felt repulsed. "Get away." He nodded. "Okay, but I'd like to stay in touch." I shook my head. "Never." He touched the box again. "I'll be leaving this here, just in case you ever change your mind." I grabbed my bag, walked toward the door. The floor felt unstable, my legs weak. Outside, the night air hit me like a wall. I got into my coat, drove home without looking back. My phone buzzed once. A message, "Hope you're safe." But I was far from safe. When I got home, I froze again. The door was unlocked. I knew I locked it. My hoodie was gone. My old Polaroid was missing. The sense that someone had been inside while I was gone enveloped me once more. I checked the mirror in my room, looked slightly askew. The frame was the same. A tiny chip on the right corner. I hadn't noticed it before. My heart raced. I ran my finger along it. It felt new. I texted Rachel, "I think I'm being watched." She replied, "Call the police." I deleted the photo I'd taken of the mirror. Cleaned the room. Tried to sleep. But every time I closed my eyes, I saw his face, calm and waiting. I barely slept that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I imagined him standing over me. His face quietly studying me the way he had in his living room, with that unnatural calmness. I kept hearing his voice saying he'd visited my house. Like he was talking about dropping by a friend's place. I turned on every light. Sat upright in bed. Kept my keys in my hand. By sunrise, I still hadn't slept. My mind felt cottony and jagged at the same time. I texted Rachel again, telling her everything in a stream of messages so long it looked insane. She called immediately. "Call the cops," she said the second I picked up. I told her I would. That I was about to. But I wasn't. Not yet. Something inside me kept replaying his face. That quiet, almost hurt expression when I said I never wanted contact again. It didn't feel like someone who got rejected. It felt like someone who already expected the rejection. Someone who had planned past it. After hanging up, I checked every inch of my room again. Under the bed. Behind the door. Inside my closet. Then the hallway. Then the living room. Everything looked normal, except the mirror. That chip on the top right corner. I leaned in, studying it. My camera flash had caught the same angle once, but my mirror had never had a chip like that. I would have noticed. Something about the angle of the scratch, the tiny curl of wood, too deliberate. This wasn't my mirror. I tried to steady my breath. My hands trembled as I touched the chipped corner. The texture was wrong, rougher, like it had been damaged recently. And the frame. It seemed just slightly darker than mine had been. He swapped it. He'd come into my room and replaced my mirror with one of his. I wanted to scream. Instead, I backed away slowly, staring at that mirror like it was a living thing staring back. Then, something new hit me. He said he'd seen the tattoo in a picture I didn't remember taking. A picture of me. In my bed, with my shirt riding up. From the angle of the mirror. My chest tightened. I turned toward the mirror again and positioned myself like I was in bed. I lay back, held my phone up, looked at what the camera saw, and I saw it. A faint discoloration on my ribs. Like a shadow. A faint, dark marking. Faded. I touched the spot on my actual skin. Nothing. Just smooth skin. But through the reflection, the mark appeared again. A tattoo I didn't have. My vision lurched. I sat up so quickly the phone nearly fell from my hand. My breath came fast. The room felt tighter. He wasn't hallucinating it. He wasn't imagining it. Somehow, through that mirror, this mirror, I had a mark. My stomach twisted. I grabbed my keys. I needed to get out. I needed to be in public. I needed witnesses, cameras, noise, anything but this silence. When I stepped outside, sunlight hit me so harshly it felt like running into glass. I walked fast, half jogging toward the cafe down the street. Every time I passed a window, I caught myself in the reflection trying to see if the tattoo appeared there too. It didn't. Only in the mirror he brought. At least. That's what I thought. The cafe was busy. Good. Noise. Warmth. Other people. A barrier between me and whatever he'd done. I took a seat by the window and ordered a tea, trying to stop shaking. My phone buzzed. A text from a number I didn't know. Unknown. Thanks for staying safe. I was worried. My blood iced. I typed, delete my number. Do not contact me. He replied instantly. Unknown. I like the new mirror. I stiffened. New? New as in he hadn't swapped my mirror with his? New as in he installed it? My hands went numb. I didn't reply. Instead, I called 911. The operator picked up. What's your emergency? There's a guy who broke into my home, I said. Multiple times. He's been spying on me. Are you somewhere safe? I'm at a cafe. Stay there. An officer will meet you. What's the address? I gave it. She told me to wait. I sat there hugging myself, rocking slightly, trying not to cry. Every time the door chimed behind me, I flinched. 10 minutes later, a uniformed officer walked in. A woman, thank God. She sat across from me and took notes as I told her everything. Showing her the screenshot of his messages, the chip in the mirror, the Polaroid he showed me. When I pulled up the photo I'd taken of the swapped mirror, I froze, because the picture was different, different. The mirror in my camera roll didn't have the chip. Not in the picture I took last night. There was no chip. Not in any of them. I nearly dropped the phone. Something wrong? The officer asked. I swear there was a chip. My voice cracked. I touched it. She frowned. Could you have imagined it? Under stress? No. I shook my head hard. He told me he took pictures. He told me he saw a tattoo under my shirt. He showed me the Polaroid. Do you still have the Polaroid? No, he kept it. Or took it. She nodded, typing. Do you think he drugged you? Made you hallucinate? I don't know. She leaned forward. If he's escalated from breaking in to contacting you directly, you did the right thing. We'll file the report and send patrols to your home. She stood to leave, then paused. You said you had a mark visible in the mirror? Only the one he installed? Yes. Mind if I take a look? I lifted my shirt slightly. She leaned in, squinted. I don't see anything, she said. Just skin. Completely clear. I know, I whispered. She gave me a tight smile, sympathetic but doubtful. We'll take care of it. Just stay with someone you trust tonight. She left. I sat there staring into my tea until the steam faded. The doubts crept in like shadows. Maybe I was losing it. Maybe he'd drugged me. Maybe the mirror chip was something I dreamed. Needed proof. The kind you can't argue with. So I did the dumbest thing imaginable. I went home. The apartment felt wrong the second I stepped in. Too still, too clean. Like someone had scrubbed away the evidence of the night. Before. The mirror hung on the wall. Perfect. Smooth. No chip. My heart pounded. So hard my neck hurt. I approached it slowly. When I got close, I reached out to touch the top corner where the chip used to be. Smooth. I exhaled shakily. Then, as I stared into the glass, I saw it. The tattoo. A faint, dark marking on my ribs. It was there. In the reflection. Clear. I yanked my shirt up. My skin was smooth. I lowered my shirt. Looked again in the mirror. The tattoo was unmistakable. My breath stuttered. My legs shook. No, I whispered. No, no, no. Behind me, the bedroom door shut with a soft, slow click. I jumped violently. Spinning around. Nothing. Empty room. But then my phone chimed. A picture message. From him. I opened it. It was me. Taken just now. Standing in front of the mirror. The tattoo visible. My shirt lifted slightly. My eyes wide. My mouth open, except I hadn't taken it. The angle was from behind me. I spun around again. Heart exploding in my chest. No one there. No one. Then the closet door creaked. A breath. A whisper. Something shifting softly. I ran out of the bedroom. Down the hall. Out the front door. I didn't look back. I didn't sleep at Rachel's. I didn't talk much. I kept my phone on the counter and just sat there staring at nothing. The next morning, I woke up to sunlight on my face and Rachel shaking my shoulder. "You have to see this," she whispered. She pulled me into the living room. Her TV was paused. A news clip. The headline, "Man found dead in apartment after break and call potential burglary gone double ONG." My blood ran cold. There he was. Noah. His Tinder profile picture flashed briefly on the screen. Rachel turned up the volume. Police responded to a 911 call last night from a neighbor reporting screams inside the unit. Officers found the tenant deceased in his bedroom with evidence of a struggle. No suspect has been identified. I shook my head. That's impossible. He texted me. He took a picture of me. I heard him in my apartment. Rachel swallowed. Look at the timestamp. The time of death was listed as between 9 p.m. and midnight. I left his place at 8:40 p.m. He was dead before I even got home. My knees buckled. I dropped onto the couch. "No," I whispered. He was there. He followed me. He texted me. My phone buzzed. A message from the same unknown number. My stomach dropped as I opened it. Unknown. I never cared about the tattoo. I cared about the places it leads. Another message followed. A picture. Me. Sleeping on Rachel's couch. Taken moments ago. The tattoo. Visible on my ribs, visible in the reflection of the TV. Even though I wasn't lifting my shirt, even though I was sleeping on my side, behind me, in the TV screen's faint reflection, a dark silhouette leaned over the couch. Not Noah, taller, longer, distorted, watching me, reaching. A third message came. Unknown. You shouldn't have covered it. Then a soft tap at Rachel's door. 3 slow knocks. And the final text. Unknown. It's not his mark. It's mine. The knocking got louder. And this time, the mirror on the wall behind me began to crack right where the tattoo would be. The second my phone buzzed with the Tinder notification, I froze because I hadn't opened the app in over a month. I was sitting alone in my apartment, lights low, Netflix joining in the background. My phone was face down on the armrest, and when it buzzed again, a sick feeling settled in my stomach. You have a new match. It shouldn't have bothered me, but something about it felt off. I'd disabled notifications weeks ago. Hadn't touched Tinder in ages. Hell, I barely remembered my password. I picked up the phone, thumb hovering over the app. I hesitated. Curiosity won. I tapped it open. The screen flashed red, then loaded up a match screen. You matched with Nate. Profile pic, blurry. Black hoodie. No bio. Just a first name. And distance. Less than 1 mile away. I stared at that. 1 mile was already creepy. Less than 1 mile meant one of two things. Either Nate lived in my building, or he was outside. Watching. I closed the app. This was nothing. A glitch. Maybe I'd swiped drunk weeks ago and forgot about it. Maybe he just now swiped on me and that triggered the notification, but the feeling wouldn't leave. That feeling like something was off. The kind of wrong that settles behind your ribs and whispers, "Something's watching." I stood up and went to double-check the locks. Deadbolt. Chain. Secure. Still, I shut the blinds too. Just in case. I live alone. Top floor. Small apartment complex. Quiet building. Never had issues before, but that night, it felt like the walls were listening. I tried to shake it. Poured a glass of wine. Sat back down. That's when I noticed something weird. My TV remote moved. It was sitting on the edge of the coffee table, slightly off center, pointed away from me. I always put it right in front of the couch, parallel to the TV. I told myself I was being paranoid. Maybe I bumped it. I turned off the TV, finished the wine, and went to bed. Laying there, eyes wide open, I checked the Tinder app one last time. Nate's message had arrived. Just 3 words, "Nice couch setup." I sat bolt upright. I didn't have photos of my living room on my profile. Only selfies. All cropped. Mostly outside. I stared at the message. My thumb hovered over unmatch. Then another message came in. You keep the remote near the edge? I dropped the phone. My heart was pounding so loud, I thought I'd get sick. I ran to the living room. Flicked the lights on. Empty. I checked behind the curtains. Nothing. But the fear didn't let go. I called my friend Jess. No answer. She was probably asleep. I called Rachel next. She picked up groggy. I know this sounds crazy, I whispered. I think someone's been in my apartment. She sat up fast. I could hear it in her voice. What happened? I told her everything, the match, the messages, the remote. Leave, she said. Now come to my place. I'll pay for the Uber. I nodded, grabbed my stuff, and walked toward the front door. The doorknob cold, so cold, it made me pause. Like metal kept in a freezer. And then I saw a just below the handle scrape. Marks, small, shiny, fresh, like someone had picked at the lock. I stepped back. Heart in my throat. Another Tinder message came through. Don't go. I ran. 15 minutes later. I was curled up on Rachel's couch. Safe. Lights on. TV blaring. She made tea, kept checking the locks. You need to call the cops, she said. I don't even know what I'd say. Someone messaged me on Tinder. That's not illegal. Except he described your couch. And the remote. I nodded, hugging a blanket around me. My skin felt wrong. My own apartment didn't feel like mine anymore. It felt watched. I deleted Tinder. Uninstalled the app. Rachel lent me a hoodie and I crashed on her couch. And for a while, I almost convinced myself it was over, that it was just a freak glitch. Someone hacked my Tinder. Nothing more. Until 2 nights later, back at my apartment. Trying to be normal. I found the Polaroid. It was tucked under my pillow, and it wasn't of me. It was my living room. Taken from behind the couch. At night. With me in the frame. Sitting. Remote in hand. Staring at the TV. And in the reflection on the TV screen. Someone was behind me. Tall. Hoodie. Standing close. Too close. Part 2. I stood in the middle of my bedroom holding that Polaroid like it was radioactive. I wanted to throw it. Burn it. Scream. But all I could do was stare. My own face frozen in the image, just watching TV, unaware. And right behind me in the screen's reflection, him, whoever he was. The one in the hoodie. The one who matched me on Tinder. The one I'd deleted but clearly hadn't deleted me. The worst part? My apartment had only one key. And only one entrance. The door had been locked. He'd been inside the whole time. I dropped the photo and backed out of the room like it might explode. I grabbed my phone and called Rachel. She picked up on the second ring. You okay? He left a photo, I whispered. A real one. Under my pillow. What does it show? Me, in the living room. He was behind me. In the reflection. Rachel, I was awake when that photo was taken. She was quiet for a beat. Call the police, now. I can't stay here. Then come here. I'm not walking out that door. What if he's still in here? I turned in a slow circle, phone against my ear. My chest was tight. Breath shallow. I couldn't hear anything, no footsteps, no creaks, but I knew better now. That meant nothing. I'm calling 911, Rachel said. Stay on the line. She did. Until the cops arrived, they swept the apartment top to bottom. No signs of forced entry. No sign of anyone still inside. I showed them the photo. They bagged it as evidence. I told them everything: Tinder, the messages, the match, the comments about the couch, the remote, the picture. They didn't say much. Just took notes. Asked if I wanted to file a report. I said yes. They didn't find any cameras. No listening devices. No fingerprints. which somehow made it worse. The lead officer handed me his card. "If anything happens again, call us right away." I didn't sleep there that night. Or the next. I crashed at Rachel's again, tried to laugh it off, convince myself it was over, but I couldn't. Not when someone had stood behind me in my own home and watched. A week passed. No messages. No photos. I started to breathe again. I got a new phone. Changed all my passwords. Switched my locks. Bought cameras. Stopped using Tinder, deleted the account permanently this time. I even blocked the number from the first night. It all helped. A little. By week 2, I returned to my apartment. Carefully, slowly, still flinching at every sound. But no signs of anything new. Until night 3 back home. I was getting out of the shower, toweling my hair dry, humming to myself like a fool who thinks the worst is over. Then I noticed something. In the hallway mirror, a smudge. I stepped closer. Not a smudge, a handprint. Small, oily fingers, splayed against the glass like someone had leaned in to watch. I hadn't touched that mirror in days. And I lived alone. I backed away. Again. But I didn't. I just cleaned the mirror and tried to convince myself it was from the movers. From maintenance. From something, even though I knew. 2 nights later, I woke up to the sound of my phone buzzing on the nightstand. Unknown number. Again, I let it go to voicemail. I didn't check the message. Didn't need to. I turned the phone off, shoved it in a drawer, and sat up all night with a knife from the kitchen in my lap and a baseball bat against the wall. Nothing happened. No knock. No window tap. No footsteps. But in the morning, I found my toothbrush moved. From the holder to the sink. Just sitting there. Wet. The next day I left work early. Bought an extra set of hidden cams, ones with motion detection and cloud storage. Installed them in every room, kitchen, living room, hallway, bedroom. If he came back, I'd catch him. Finally, that night I barely moved from the couch. I watched the feed on my laptop in real time. Nothing. At 3:12 a.m. The hallway camera went black for 2 seconds. When it came back online, my bedroom door was slightly more open than before. I didn't hear anything, didn't see anyone, but when I checked the live feed again, my bedroom camera had gone offline. 2 seconds. Then back. Everything looked normal, except my closet door had shifted, wide enough for someone to slide through. My heart froze. I grabbed the bat and walked to my room, laptop still open in my other hand. The feed kept playing. No motion alert, but I knew. I felt it in the air. That wrong silence. That invisible pressure. Like the moment before lightning hits, I flung the closet door open. Nothing. Just clothes. Boxes. The usual. But I backed out of the room anyway and left. Called Rachel. Spent the night at her place again. When I checked the camera footage the next morning, my heart nearly stopped. At 2:37 a.m., while I was watching TV in the living room, a figure slipped out of my closet, paused, then walked into the hallway right past the camera, looked directly into the lens, and smiled. Not Noah. Not anyone I recognized, but he was tall, wearing a hoodie, pale skin. Something wrong about the smile. Like it was stretched too far. Like he was glad I saw him. He didn't come into the living room. Didn't attack. Didn't even approach. He just watched me from the hallway. Waited until I left the room. Then walked back toward my bedroom and slipped out of frame. I stared at the video a dozen times. Tried to understand why he didn't hurt me. Why he didn't take anything. Why he just stood there. Then I realized he wanted me to see him. The mirror, the photo, the handprint, the messages. Every move was to let me know he'd been there. Not to hurt me. To own me, like some sick performance. The second the tires hit gravel, I got a weird feeling in my stomach. He'd said the lake house was peaceful, secluded. Great signal, not that you'll need it, he joked. And I laughed, because of course I didn't expect anything weird. It was our third date. He was hot, funny, normal, but the second we turned off the main road, and that long stretch of trees swallowed us up, I started to regret coming. Something about the silence felt wrong. I know it's out there, he said, glancing over at me with a grin. But it's worth it. Wait till you see the water. I nodded, forced a smile. I was already doing that too much. Smiling when I didn't want to. Agreeing just to keep things chill. The whole drive up, I'd been wrestling that quiet instinct. Don't go. Don't stay overnight. But it's hard to explain that kind of gut feeling when the person next to you hasn't done anything wrong. Yet the driveway led up to this big old 2-story house tucked behind pines. Weathered wood, shuttered windows, a wraparound porch. The lake shimmered behind it, barely visible through the trees. Picture perfect, if a little too still. He parked and turned to me. You okay? Yeah, I lied. We unloaded our bags. The house smelled like wood and old rain. Damp, not dirty, just aged, like it hadn't been used in a while. He said it was his family's place. Said he'd been coming here since he was a kid. In the living room, there was a stone fireplace, thick couches, big windows facing the trees. I looked around while he opened the windows to air it out. I noticed the photos immediately. Dozens of framed family pictures on the walls and mantel. All the same people in different decades. A boy, blonde, tall, slightly awkward, who I assumed was him. Growing up in different stages, but there was something weird in almost every photo. Even from when he was a child, there was a girl about my age now. Same face, same dark hair. Always in the background. Always blurred or half-turned. I paused at one from what looked like a birthday. He was blowing out candles. And she was behind him, staring straight at the camera. Hey, I said, trying to keep my voice light. Who's this? He looked over, saw which photo I meant, and his face shifted. Oh, that's my cousin, he said quickly. Old photo. She passed away a few years ago. Weird, right? Yeah, I said. Something in his tone didn't sit right. Come see the lake, he said. It's the best part. I followed him out to the deck. The view was stunning. Still water, thick trees lining the shore, no other houses in sight. He cracked open a beer, handed me one, and we sat for a while. The sun dipped low. The silence pressed in, and the whole time that feeling built, like something was off. Not in a big, obvious way. In a layered way. The kind of thing that sneaks up on you slow. He was charming. Kind, but a little too watchful. Like he was waiting for me to say something. Waiting for me to slip up. That night after dinner, we played cards, drank more, watched a movie. I couldn't shake the feeling that the entire house had been staged. Not lived in. Like it had been made just ready enough for a guest, but didn't actually belong to anyone. I went to the bathroom before bed. That's when I found it. A toothbrush. In the cabinet. Pink. Worn. Lipstick smudges near the handle, and a small gold hoop earring on the sink ledge. Neither were mine when I came out. He was already in bed. I laid there stiff, fully clothed, pretending to sleep while my brain spun. Sometime after midnight, I heard him get up. He moved quietly, but I heard the floorboards creak. Heard the sound of a drawer sliding open. A soft metallic clink. Then silence. I didn't move. Just kept breathing slow and steady. Eventually, I heard him come back. Settle into bed. But I didn't sleep. Not 1 second. In the morning, I made coffee and asked if I could walk down to the lake alone to clear my head. He didn't love that. I could see it in his smile. Tight, strained. But he let me go. I took my phone. No signal. No bars. Not even enough to load a map. I stood at the edge of the lake. staring at my reflection in the still water dot, and then I noticed it. Across the water, half hidden in the trees, another house, smaller, darker, its windows completely covered, and someone. Watching Dot at least. I thought someone was. The silhouette disappeared the second I blinked. I backed away from the shore slowly. When I got back to the house, he was sitting on the porch. "You were gone a while," he said. "Just needed some air." He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. "You think I'm weird," he said suddenly. I blinked. "What? You're wondering if you made a mistake coming here." I laughed nervously. "I didn't say that. You didn't have to." He stood. "You keep looking at the pictures. You keep flinching." I opened my mouth to answer, but he stepped closer. "You're not the first person to stay here," he said quietly. "And you're not the first to lie." "Lie about what?" He tilted his head. "About who you really are." I stepped back. "I think I need to go." He didn't stop me, he just smiled. "Keys are by the door." And for a second, I thought maybe I'd imagined it all. Maybe I had overreacted, until I grabbed my bag and found a Polaroid tucked under the strap. Dot. It was a picture of me, taken from the hallway, last night, while I was pretending to sleep. I stared at the Polaroid like it was a live animal that might bite. Me, in bed. Eyes closed, body completely still, but the angle of the shot, the distance, the height. He'd been standing right over me when he took it. I didn't turn around immediately. I couldn't. My lungs felt tight, like the air had thickened. My heart was pounding so hard I thought he'd hear it. When I finally faced him, he wasn't smiling anymore. He was just watching, like he was waiting to see how I'd react. "You found it," he said softly. My voice cracked. Why would you take this?" He stepped onto the porch, the wooden boards groaning under his weight. "You moved last night. Thought you were awake. Thought you saw me." My blood went cold. "I didn't," I whispered. He nodded slowly. "I know. That's why I took it." He paused. "Proof you can trust me." The sentence made no sense, like he lived by some internal logic no one else followed. I tucked the Polaroid into my back pocket without looking away from him. "I want to leave," I said, forcing calm into my voice. "Now." His jaw tightened. "You haven't even seen the best part." "I don't care. I'm leaving." He stepped off the porch. Something in his expression flickered: hurt, anger, disappointment. I couldn't tell. Maybe all three. "Okay," he said finally. "I'll walk you to the car." That scared me more than anything. We walked in silence. The gravel crunched under our shoes. The trees were so thick around the house that even the breeze felt muffled. When we reached the car, I fumbled with my keys, my hands shaking too much to aim. He leaned against the trunk, arms crossed. "Did you see it?" he asked. I froze. "See what?" "The house across the lake." My stomach dropped. "I saw something." He smiled again, too wide this time. "That's not a rental. That's not a family cabin. That's hers." I swallowed hard. "Your cousin?" His eyes darkened. "Not exactly." He pushed off the trunk and walked closer. I instinctively stepped back, pressing myself against the car. "She wasn't my cousin," he said. "She wasn't family." "Then who was she?" He tilted his head. "Someone who thought she could leave." A chill crawled up my spine. I grabbed the door handle and yanked it. It opened. Thank God. But before I could get in, he spoke again. "You look like her." I froze. Same hair, same face. Same way of acting, like you're not scared when you are. My throat tightened. "What happened to her?" He blinked slowly. "I told you. She left." He said it with a kind of softness that was more frightening than yelling, like he genuinely believed it. I got in the car, slammed the door, locked it. He leaned down, hands on the window, eyes level with mine. "You think I'm dangerous," he said. "I'm not." My breath trembled. He tapped the glass lightly, like knocking on a fish tank. "You just need to stay where it's safe." Then he stepped back, smiling like we'd had a normal conversation. I started the car and reversed down that gravel path so fast I nearly scraped the trees. He didn't chase me. He just stood there, hands in his pockets, watching until the trees swallowed him from view. I drove until my hands stopped shaking, at least enough to pull over safely. I parked by a tiny diner on the highway and cried hard into my steering wheel, palms burning, legs numb. Once I could breathe again, I dug out the Polaroid out my bedroom. Me lying still, the blanket slightly shifted, and just behind my shoulder, a shape not him, not human-sized. Something crouched at the foot of the bed, dark, blurred like it was too close to the lens. Like whoever took the photo wasn't focusing on me, but on it, a second figure. I dropped the photo and scrambled out of the car, pacing in the gravel, heart knocking painfully against my ribs. Had he staged it? Was it a joke? A trick of the light? Or was that why he said the house across the lake wasn't his cousin's? Was that where she had lived? Where she had stayed? Where she had disappeared? I didn't go back to my apartment. I didn't go to work. I drove straight to my sister's house an hour away and showed her everything. She cried. Called the police. Filed a report on my behalf. An officer took my statement, my phone, the location, the photo. But when they came back, the cabin appears unoccupied, the officer said. No sign of recent activity, no personal belongings, no male residence matching your description. And the neighboring structure across the lake is condemned and empty. That's impossible, I said. I saw someone there. We believe he gave you a false name, the officer continued. The Tinder account was deleted before we could trace it. Everything I told them sounded like a dream, a bad one. I hated how easily all of it could be dismissed. And then he added the part that gutted me. We went through the main house thoroughly, he said. We found no bedrooms prepared for guests. No toothbrush matching what you described. No Polaroid camera. No photos of a cousin. Nothing. What? My voice cracked. The pictures were everywhere on the walls, the fireplace, the hall. There were no photos at all, he said gently. The walls were bare. I felt my blood run cold. The officer placed the Polaroid on the table between us. We did find this, he said. In your bag. It wasn't the photo I'd seen earlier. It was different. Same bed, same angle, same night. But this time, I wasn't in the photo. The blankets were smooth, the bed empty, and the crouched figure at the foot of the mattress was closer, its face turned slightly toward the camera. Couldn't breathe. That's not, I whispered. That's not the picture I found. The officer looked at me with sympathy, not disbelief. Ma'am, cameras malfunction. Light distorts. Fear does strange things. But this wasn't fear. This was a warning. It's been 3 months. I left town, changed my number, deleted every dating app. I still wake up some nights to the sound of water lapping against a shore that isn't there. Sometimes, when I'm half asleep, I swear I see a cabin window reflected in my own. But here's the part I've never told anyone. 2 weeks ago, a package arrived. No return address. No name. Inside was a single Polaroid of the lake house, taken from the water. And in the upper window, a figure. Watching. Not him. Human. Long, still, bent slightly, as if trying to fit inside the frame, and taped to the back was a handwritten note in a familiar slanted script. You didn't stay long enough to see what she left behind. I dropped the picture, but I didn't throw it away, because deep down, some part of me knows he didn't bring me there to hurt me, or scare me, or trap me. He brought me there so I could replace someone, and something tells me the one who lived in that window is still waiting for me to come back. I should have known better the second I matched with someone who had no profile picture. It was 1:12 a.m. I was lying in bed, scrolling Tinder out of boredom, not even looking for anything, just swiping to fill the silence. That's when the profile popped up. No name, no bio. No photo. Just the age, 27, and distance, less than 5 miles. I don't know why I swiped right. Maybe it was morbid curiosity. Maybe I was just lonely. Either way, I instantly regretted it when the screen flashed. It's a match. I stared at it, already feeling stupid. Then I saw the first message come in. Still up? I hesitated. Yeah, I was. But I didn't answer. A minute passed. I've seen you before. You don't usually sleep early. Okay, creepy, I replied, trying to keep it light. Have we met? In a way. I sat up in bed. The room was dark except for the faint glow of my phone screen. I glanced around like someone might suddenly be there. I don't think I've seen you on here before, I typed. You haven't. I hovered over the unmatch button. But again, I didn't hit it. Something about the way they typed. It felt familiar, like the way certain people punctuate. The rhythm. It was subtle, but I swear I knew it. And then they sent something that made my skin crawl. You dyed your hair back. Looks good. I froze. I had. 2 nights ago. From blonde back to dark brown. But I hadn't posted a single photo since then. Not on Instagram, not on Snapchat, not even on my story. No one but my roommate and co-workers had seen it. How do you know that? I sent back. They didn't answer right away. I stared at the screen for a full minute. Heart THUDING. Then another message. I never liked the blonde. This feels more like you. I unmatched immediately, blocked the account, closed the app, turned my phone off and tossed it across the bed like that would somehow make me safer. But I didn't sleep. I just laid there, heart racing, thoughts spiraling. Because only one person had ever said something exactly like that. To me. My ex. Adam. And he was dead. I didn't tell anyone the next day. What was I supposed to say? Hey. I matched with a faceless Tinder profile that talks like my dead ex. They'd think I was losing it. And maybe I was. I started going through old texts. Rereading the way Adam used to type, the punctuation, the habits. He never used emojis, always used proper grammar, and said things like, feels like you. The same phrase. It felt impossible. Adam had died in a car crash almost a year ago. Closed casket. I'd been at the funeral. I shook it off. Coincidence. Just someone messing with me. Or my brain filling in blanks. I went to work. Got coffee with co-workers. Laughed at stupid stuff. Tried to be normal. But that night, just before bed, I got another message. This time on Instagram. New account. No profile pic. No followers. No post. Just a message request. You still wear that same hoodie to bed. I felt the breath leave my body. I was wearing it. My oversized gray zip-up. A little frayed around the sleeves. I only ever wore it at night, in the apartment. I checked the username. Just a string of random numbers. No bio. Blocked it. Threw the phone across the room again. Now I was scared. The next morning, I asked my roommate if she'd noticed anything weird. Anyone hanging around the building. She said no. Why? She asked, you okay? Just weird messages, I said, brushing it off. She gave me that look, the kind that says she doesn't believe me, but also won't push. I didn't go into detail. I didn't want to scare her. That night I didn't open Tinder, didn't open Instagram. Put my phone on airplane mode and went to bed. But around 3 a.m., I woke up suddenly. You know that feeling when something pulls you out of sleep, but you're not sure what? That. I sat up. The room was cold. Too cold. My hoodie was bunched around me. My blanket had fallen off the bed. I bent down to grab it and saw something that made my blood run cold. A Polaroid. Just sitting there, half tucked under the edge of the bed. I pulled it out slowly, heart hammering. It was a photo of me. In bed. From the foot of the mattress. Sleeping. Wearing the hoodie. Blanket kicked halfway off. Exactly like it had been just moments ago. I clamped a hand over my mouth. I hadn't heard anything. No door. No footsteps. Nothing. but someone had been in my room, watching me. Close enough to take a photo. I didn't go back to sleep at dawn. I packed a bag and drove to my sister's apartment across town. Told her everything. She wanted to call the police. I told her I would, but first I needed proof. More than a photo I could have taken myself, if I was sleepwalking or having a breakdown. She let me stay in her spare room. I locked the door. Left the light on. 2 days passed. No messages. No new photos. Nothing. Then, on the third night, something arrived in the mail. No name on the envelope. Inside, another Polaroid. Same style. But this time, I was lying on my sister's couch, blanket over me, hoodie on, asleep. Behind me in the shot, blurred and barely visible, was a reflection in the living room mirror. Someone standing in the hallway. I dropped the Polaroid like it burned me. My sister picked it up, squinting. What is this? I couldn't speak. My mouth felt full of sand. My throat locked. It's you, she said slowly. Here, on my couch. When did you take this? I shook my head violently. No. She stared at the photo again. Really stared. This is from last night, she whispered. You were sleeping just like that. I remember because I put the blanket on you. She looked up at me, really looked, and I watched the realization hit her like a punch. Someone took this, she said. Someone was in here. My chest tightened until it hurt. I locked the door. I locked the door, she echoed. And the windows. Both of them. We ran around the apartment checking everything again, locks, windows, closets. Nothing was broken. Nothing disturbed. No fingerprints. No sign of forced entry. Just that photo. That impossibly quiet, impossibly close photo. I called the police. They came. They took the picture. They took a statement, but with no sign of break-in, no footprints, no camera footage. No visible suspect. They said the same thing every officer has said to me in every one of these stories. We'll keep an eye out. Which means nothing. Absolutely nothing. It didn't make me feel safer. It made me feel hunted. That night, I slept in my sister's locked spare room. Door latched. Chair wedged under the handle. Window sealed shut. Phone clutched in my hand. At some point, I drifted into a thin, shaky sleep, around 3:40 a.m. My phone buzzed, a notification, even though it was still on airplane mode. I jolted upright. The screen lit my face. Airdrop request. No underscore profile, wants to share one photo. I stared at the name. No underscore profile. The same empty Tinder account. My heart hammered against my ribs so hard, I thought it might bruise. I tried to decline the request. It popped back instantly. No underscore profile. Wants to share one photo. Decline. It. Return. Decline. Return. I threw the blanket off, scrambled for the light switch, and flicked it on. The room washed in a pale yellow glow. Nothing moved. My sister didn't wake up. I pressed accept. I don't know why. Maybe because I couldn't take not knowing anymore. Photo open. It was the mirror in my sister's hallway. And in the reflection, me, asleep on the couch from 2 nights ago. Blanket slipped off my shoulder. That part wasn't new. What was new was the fact that in the reflection, my eyes were open. Staring straight at the camera. At him. At whoever had been standing there, watching me breathe, watching me sleep, watching me pretend I was safe. I screamed. My sister ran in. I couldn't even show her the phone. I was shaking too hard. She grabbed it out of my hand, looked at the screen, and I watched her face drain of color. We need to go, she whispered. We packed in 5 minutes. Threw bags into the car. Drove to a hotel on the other side of the city. I didn't tell her this part until later. The reflection of me in the photo, the one with the open eyes, was smiling. I definitely wasn't smiling when I'd been asleep. and no matter how long I stared at it, trying to convince myself it was a glitch or an illusion. It wasn't. My face was smiling, like someone else was wearing it. The hotel was supposed to make US feel safer. It didn't. The rooms were clean, updated, modern, but the locks felt flimsy. The hallways too long. The silence unfamiliar, but at least it was new. Unaffiliated with anything I knew. Anything he knew. We checked in. Double-locked the door. Pushed the security bar across. Closed the curtains. Around midnight, I finally calmed down. Around 1:30, my sister fell asleep. Around 2 o'clock, I decided to take a shower. My hair was greasy, and fear makes your skin feel dirty in a way that nothing else does. I turned on the water. Waited for the steam. Stepped inside. For the first 2 minutes, it was fine. Then the bathroom light flickered. Just once. But it was enough. My whole body seized up. I stood there dripping, heart thudding. The light steadied. I told myself to breathe. Told myself I was imagining things. And then my phone buzzed on the counter outside the shower. Curtain. A faint vibration. Then another and another. I killed the water. Grabbed a towel with slippery hands and stepped onto the tile. My screen was lit up. 5 new messages from a number that wasn't saved. But I knew exactly who it was. I see you. You moved hotels. This one's older than it looks. You always look down at the water before stepping out. And the last one. Turn around. I froze. My lungs stopped working. My vision blurred. I didn't turn around. I couldn't. It felt like someone stood right behind me, close enough for their breath to fog the back of my neck. I backed into the wall instead, keeping my eyes on the phone. No more messages came, but slowly, carefully, I forced myself to turn toward the mirror above the sink. Nothing. Just my own dripping reflection. My own wide, terrified eyes. No one else. I let out a shaky breath. Then the reflection blinked. 1 second after I did. Not the same time. A heartbeat after. My legs nearly gave out. My back hit the wall. I stared at the mirror, too terrified to move. My reflection blinked again. Late again. As if copying me. As if watching me. As if learning. I grabbed my phone, bolted into the hallway, and slammed into my sister's door. Wake up, wake up, wake up. She flung it open, panicked. What? What happened? What's wrong? The mirror, I gasped. Something's wrong with the damn mirror. Before I could finish, loud footsteps echoed down the hall. Slow, heavy, deliberate. We froze. Someone was walking toward our room. I grabbed my sister's arm and pulled her inside. We locked the door, shoved the chair under the handle, and turned out the lights. The footsteps stopped outside, right in front of our door. My sister covered her mouth, trying not to breathe too loudly. Then a knock. Soft at first. 2 taps. Then harder. 3 slow, dragging knocks. My phone buzzed in my hand. 1 more message. Open up. I brought your favorite hoodie. My blood iced, because earlier that day before the police came, before we ran out, I'd packed my hoodie in my bag, but it wasn't in there. When we got to the hotel. Someone had taken it. Someone who knew I slept in it. Someone who'd taken photos of me wearing it. Someone who was now standing on the other side of the door. I'm calling the police, my sister whispered. She dialed, but when she lifted the phone to her ear, her face twisted in confusion. There's no dial tone, she whispered. Nothing. It's just dead. The knock came again. Slower this time. Like whoever it was wasn't in a rush. Like they had all the time in the world. I backed away toward the window, hands shaking so badly I dropped my phone. It bounced once, landing face up. My notifications lit the screen. Airdrop. Request. Again. Double quotes. No underscore profile. Wants to share 1 photo. My sister whispered, "Don't accept it." I didn't, but I didn't have to. The Notification refreshed on its own dot, and the photo appeared. A live image, taken just seconds ago, from the hallway security camera the hotel had installed. The frame showed our room door, the hallway carpet, the pale wallpaper, and the tall, thin figure standing right in front of the door. Hood up, face completely obscured, holding something dark in one hand. Something soft. My HOODIE. The timestamp read 2:47. Live capture. Turned slowly toward the hotel. Door. The knocking stopped. Silence. Then dash. The security bar on the door began to lift. Slowly. On its own. Metal scraping. My sister screamed. Grabbed her hand. We didn't wait. We didn't think. We climbed out the window, 3rd floor, be damned, onto the small ledge and scrambled across it toward the fire escape behind us. The hotel door banged open. I didn't look back, not once. We ran down the fire escape, across the parking lot, into the freezing night air until my lungs burned and my legs shook. We didn't stop until we reached the 24-hour gas station across the highway. Collapsing inside under the fluorescent lights like we'd been pulled from underwater. The cashier stared at us. We didn't care. We called the police. Again. This time from inside a public store with cameras everywhere. They responded. Checked the hotel. No sign of forced entry. No prints, no hoodie. No person in the hallway footage, not 1 second of video showed anyone outside our door. Except US. Running. Screaming. The hallway behind us completely empty, like no one had been there at all. Like we were running from something only we could see. My heart cracked open. Because that meant one thing. He never wanted to hurt me. He wanted me to doubt myself. He wanted to erase the line between real and imagined. He wanted to unmake me. And he was doing it one message, one photo, one sleepless night at a time. It's been 6 weeks. We moved again. I changed numbers. New phone. New locks. New city. No dating apps. No social media. No photos anywhere. And still, every night around 2 or 3 a.m., my phone buzzes. Not a text. Not a call. A search request from nearby Bluetooth devices. The same one every time. No underscore profile. Wants to connect, and sometimes, just sometimes, I hear a soft knock at my door. Not frantic. Not violent. Just patient. Like he knows I'll open it eventually. Like he's waiting for the moment I stop fighting and finally let him in. The second the lights went out, I realized I didn't actually know him. We'd been talking for maybe 2 weeks. Matched on Tinder. Casual, flirty texts. He was a little older, 32, seemed stable. Had a calm vibe that made me feel safe. So when he invited me to his place for a home-cooked dinner, I said yes. It was a stormy night, windy, rain coming down sideways. I almost bailed. But I didn't want to be dramatic. We'd FaceTimed. He seemed normal. His place was a little outside town. Not remote, but not central either. One of those split-level houses where the front door opens halfway between floors up to the kitchen and living room. Down to the basement. He greeted me with a towel for my hair and a wine glass already poured. The first 20 minutes were honestly kind of perfect. Dim lights. Jazz playing from a speaker. He made pasta from scratch. Garlic bread. Told me about his job, something in data security. We laughed about bad dates. He complimented my nail polish. I remember thinking, wow, maybe this one's actually decent. Then the lights cut out, all at once. Every bulb. Total blackout. Everything went still. Oh, he said casually, setting his wine down. Guess the storm got the power. I instinctively grabbed my phone and turned on the flashlight. No signal, he added, glancing at his own phone. Happens every time it rains hard. Basement's got candles, though. We'll be fine. He said it like this had happened 100 times, but something about the way he said basement made my skin prickle. Basement? I asked, trying to sound casual. He was already heading toward the stairs. Yeah, there's a couch down there. Cozy. I'll grab the candles. You grab the bottle? I hesitated, just for a second, but then I followed. Because that's what you do, right? You don't want to seem rude. Or paranoid. Or like one of those people who sees red flags everywhere. The stairwell was narrow. Cold. My footsteps echoed. When we reached the bottom, I noticed the basement smelled faintly of wax and something else. Like old wood. Dampness, maybe. Mildew. But the candles were already lit. That's what hit me first. Already lit. 5 of them, placed neatly around the room on shelves, on the low table. In the far corner. He hadn't been down here yet. So who lit them? I stood there, frozen, while he walked ahead and plopped onto the couch. Make yourself at home, he said, smiling. Rain's kinda romantic, right? I nodded slowly, heart crawling up into my throat. I turned in a small circle. There were no windows. No sounds except the storm outside. The only exit was the stairs we came down. He patted the cushion beside him. I didn't move. He noticed. You okay? Yeah, I lied. Something wrong? No, just the lights. Kind of sudden. He nodded thoughtfully. Yeah, it's annoying. But this is nice, right? Candlelight, wine, no phones. I faked a smile. Sure. But my mind was spinning. Because this wasn't the first time someone had lost power and had candles ready. This was the first time. Someone had already lit them. I looked around the room again. Cement floor. One throw rug. Bookshelves. Some gym equipment. A locked door near the far wall. My stomach clenched. What's behind that? I asked. He turned. That? Just the laundry room. Mind if I use the bathroom? Sure. It's up the stairs to the left. He stayed seated. I climbed the stairs carefully, each one groaning under my weight. My heart was thudding now, not from fear exactly, but from this creeping sense that something was too prepared. I went into the bathroom and locked the door. Then I opened my phone. Still no service. Wi-Fi was gone too. I tried to remember if I had told anyone the exact address. My sister knew I was going on a date, but not where. My hands were shaking. I flushed the toilet so he'd hear it, ran the water, then quietly opened the bathroom window. A narrow slit. Just enough to get air. But outside, darkness. No porch lights. No street lights. No glow from other houses. The whole block was dark. I checked my phone again. Still nothing. I debated jumping out the window. But that would make me dramatic, right? Panicky, untrusting. I didn't want to be that girl who makes everything into a crime scene. So I walked back downstairs. He was still on the couch. Same position, but the candles had moved. One was now on the ground, near the wall, one closer to the base of the stairs. And the one near the door had gone out, but the wax was still warm, melting. He looked up and smiled again. You good? Yeah, I said. Bathroom was cute, thanks. I sat on the bottom step instead of the couch. He raised an eyebrow. Not sitting? Trying to get better signal, I said, holding up my phone. He nodded. Understandable. But hey, while you're up, would you mind grabbing something from the laundry room? I froze. What is it? Extra bottle of wine. I left it in there. I stared at the locked door. It's locked. He smiled wider. Right, here. He pulled a key from his pocket and held it out. I didn't take it. The silence stretched. Just grab it real quick, he said, still calm. I shook my head, and his face changed. Not angry. Not surprised. Just disappointed. Like he'd been waiting for this moment. He stood up slowly, candlelight dancing across his face. You think I'm dangerous, he said quietly. I don't know, I whispered. You came here, he said. You ate my food. You drank my wine. But now you're scared. He took a step closer. I stepped up one stair. I just want to leave, I said. He didn't move. And then he whispered something that made my blood go still. You weren't supposed to see the candles. I froze on the stairs. You weren't supposed to see the candles. He said it calmly. Too calmly. Like he was telling me the weather forecast. My mouth went dry. What? What do you mean? I whispered. He didn't blink. They were meant to be a surprise, he said. Set the mood. You came down too fast. I didn't even hear you on the stairs. I swallowed hard. I didn't like them. He tilted his head. You sure? My pulse slammed in my ears. Yeah, I said. I'm sure. The silence stretched. The basement suddenly felt too small, too warm, too bright from the candle's dot. Then he smiled, slow, controlled. Okay, he said lightly. Misunderstanding. Come sit. He motioned toward the couch. I didn't move. My hand tightened around the stair railing. I want to go home, I said. The smile dropped. Every muscle in his face went still. Like someone hit pause. Then, in a flat voice, why? Because I'm uncomfortable. Because of the candles? His tone sharpened. No one's here but us. Exactly. That was the problem. I stepped up another stair. He stepped forward, blocking the bottom. I felt my throat close. He looked up at me with a softness that somehow made everything worse. You don't trust me, he said. I forced a breath. I don't know you well enough. He nodded thoughtfully. Like that made sense. Like he was considering the logic. Then he slipped something from his back pocket. A phone dot, not mine. Not his. A third phone dot black case. Cracked corner. A faint smudge across the lens. I was going to show you later, he said. When you were relaxed, he held it out. I found something. My stomach flipped. I don't want to see it. But you should. It's about you. I backed another step. He stepped forward again. You really want to go upstairs? He asked softly. In the dark? I turned my head. The stairwell above me was pitch black, no windows, no emergency lighting. Just an empty, lightless mouth. Power will be back soon, he said, but his voice didn't sound reassuring. It sounded like a promise he didn't want fulfilled yet. I'm leaving, I said. Now. He reached out, not fast, not grabbing, just placing a hand on the rail below mine. Just stay, he said. For 5 minutes. I don't want you walking out scared of me. I shook my head. Move. He didn't. A long beat passed. Then he sighed and stepped aside. Okay, he said gently. If you want to go, go. I didn't trust it, but I climbed out. Every step sounded like it echoed too loud. Like someone or something was listening. Halfway up, he called up to me. If you hear anything upstairs, don't freak out. I froze. Hear what? The house makes noise. What kind of noise? He didn't answer. I climbed faster. At the top, I pushed the door. It stuck just slightly, like something pressed against the other side. My breath hitched. I shoved harder. It opened. Darkness. No lights from the windows. No glow from the storm. Just void. I turned on my phone flashlight and screamed. Not because of a person. Not because of blood. Not because of violence, but because every candle from the basement was now upstairs. All 5, placed in a perfect line across. The kitchen counter. Still lit. Still burning. I stumbled back, nearly falling down the stairs. He was still at the bottom, looking up at me. His eyes glowed in the candlelight. You weren't supposed to be up there yet, he said quietly. I backed into the kitchen, keeping my light on the candles. How did they get here? He came up one step. The candles shimmered. You rushed, he said. You messed up the timing. What timing? He didn't answer. I scanned the room. No shadows. No movement. No one else here. but the candles had moved. A full floor. In total silence, I grabbed my jacket, keys, bag. "I'm leaving," I said, voice shaking. "Right now." He climbed another step. "You forgot something," he said. I bolted for the door, pulled the handle. It didn't move. Locked, deadbolt engaged. I turned the lock, pulled again. Still stuck. The door wouldn't open. He reached the top of the stairs. "You forgot yourself," he said. My heart slammed into my ribs. What does that mean? He took one slow step toward me. "You're not ready." "For what?" He inhaled for the dark. Every candle in the kitchen blew out at once. All of them. Not flickered, not dimmed. Blew out like someone exhaled over each flame. Simultaneously. The room plunged into black. I screamed, turned on my phone flashlight. It flickered, glitched, died. I ran blind. Hands hitting walls. Counters, chairs. Something brushed past me. Not human. Not solid. A cold draft, but with weight. I heard him behind me, calm as ever. It always wakes up when the lights go out. My breath broke. "What wakes up?" He whispered, right over my shoulder. "Why do you think I lit the candles?" I pushed forward with everything I had. My hand found the lock. Found the chain. Found the door. I yanked it open and stumbled outside into the storm so hard I fell on my knees. Rain pounded my skin. Wind tore my hair into my face. I didn't look back. Didn't grab my bag. Didn't speak. I ran barefoot down that gravel driveway until my lungs burned and my legs went numb. I didn't stop until I reached the main road and flagged down a passing truck. The driver took me straight to the nearest police station. They found the house. Everything exactly as I described, except for one detail. There were no candles in the basement, no wax marks, no burnt wicks, no evidence of fire anywhere. The kitchen counters were bare. Not a single candle in the house. The man I'd been with, he was gone. His phone disconnected. His profile deleted. His belongings cleared out. No forwarding address. No record of residency. Like he had never lived there. Like he had been waiting for someone else to come. Someone like me. I live in an apartment now. Top floor. Multiple locks. Cameras everywhere. But I still don't like basements. Not because of him. Because sometimes, when the power flickers, I swear I see a glow through the floorboards. A warm, pulsing, candlelit glow. And I hear a whisper rising with it. "You rushed. You weren't ready. It's awake now." And the part I hate the most? Every time the power goes out, even for a second, I can smell warm wax burning from somewhere below me. The first time I saw her smile, I thought she was just nervous. You know that kind of smile, tight, held too long, like someone's waiting for you to laugh first. That was her. Her profile said her name was Maya, and she looked stunning in every photo. Like almost too perfect. Great lighting, flawless makeup, dark hair always swept to one side, lips curled in that subtle, almost smug smile. "We matched on a Wednesday," she messaged first. "I like your eyes. They look like they see too much." Weird opener, but I bit. She typed slowly. One message every 5 or 10 minutes. "Nothing casual, everything," she said, sounded like a line from a script. "You seem calm." I like calm people. People who blink less tend to be better listeners. I feel like I've seen you before. Still, she was beautiful. And her photos didn't scream fake. There were little details, her shoes scuffed, one with a torn lace. A pimple hidden near her hairline in one shot. Just enough imperfection to feel real. We agreed to meet Friday night. A wine bar halfway between our places. She picked it. Said she liked quiet spots. When she walked in, she looked exactly like her photos. But the second she smiled, that weird feeling hit again. It wasn't the smile itself. A weird feeling hit again. That weird feeling hit again. That it wasn't the smile itself. Was how long she held it. Like she forgot to stop. She walked toward me. Already smiling, I stood and said, "Hey, you found it okay?" Still smiling, she nodded. "It's quiet." Then nothing. She sat down across from me. Still smiling. No blink. No lip twitch. No shift. I tried to brush it off. "Good week?" I asked. She tilted her head slightly. "No, but this helps." Still no movement in her face. Same exact smile. Same angle. She didn't blink until I leaned forward to grab the menu. Then one quick blink. Too quick. Like a flick. I thought maybe she had contacts in. We ordered wine. I asked her about her work. She said she didn't work right now. Says she had money saved. Said she liked to observe. That's the word she kept using. I'm a watcher. I like to study people. The way they blink. The way their jaw moves when they're lying. I laughed, trying to play it off. Well, now I'm self-conscious. That smile again. Same as before. No crease around her mouth. No change in her cheeks. I started watching her, trying to figure it out. Her face moved, but barely. Her eyes followed me, but without that soft motion people usually have. Like she was watching frame by frame. Her wine sat untouched. She just kept looking at me. Saying little things in that same low, flat tone. "You don't move a lot. You don't scratch your nose. Most people do that without thinking. Your teeth sit low in your mouth. That's rare." I was smiling but sweating now. I made a joke about her being a robot. She didn't laugh. Her smile stayed the same, and that's when it hit. Me. Her expression hadn't changed since she walked in. At all. I excused myself to go to the bathroom, locked the door. Stared at myself in the mirror. What the hell was that? Something about her face felt frozen, not stiff exactly. Just controlled. Like every movement had been practiced 100 times. Like she was mimicking expressions she'd seen in a book. When I came back out, she was still at the table, still smiling, wine still untouched. She turned her head, watching me walk back, and for a split second, I caught something, her lips twitching. Not twitching like a muscle spasm, twitching like she was testing them. Like she was adjusting the smile manually. I sat down slowly. She leaned forward. "Would you like to come back to my place?" She asked. The words were smooth, mechanical, scripted. And for the first time in a long time. I lied. "I can't. Early meeting." She nodded slowly. But the smile didn't drop. Not even a little, when I got home. I checked her profile again. Every photo had the same smile, exact same angle. Same facial positioning. Same side lighting. I reverse image searched one of them. No hits. Not fake. At least not in the usual way. But something was wrong. So I scrolled back through our messages. Her first one. "I like your eyes. They look like they see too much." Then I looked at her most recent message after I said goodnight. "You don't blink when you're scared." That's interesting. I hadn't told her I was scared. And I'd made a point to not show it. But maybe I had. Maybe she could tell. Or maybe she'd been watching before we met. I didn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that smile held too long, too perfectly, like it had been painted onto her skin. I kept replaying the moment her lips twitched, the careful way her face adjusted like she was calibrating it. Around 3:12 a.m., I checked Tinder again. Her profile was gone, not unmatched. Not deleted. Just gone like it had never existed, I told myself. That was good, normal, healthy. I dodged something weird, but around 3:45, I got a notification. Instagram, message request. No profile picture. No posts, no followers, just one message. "Your eyebrows move too much tonight. I'll help you fix that." I blocked the account instantly. Then I turned on every light in my apartment. Double-checked all the locks. Shut the curtains. Still, I kept feeling like there was someone standing behind me. Not moving, just watching. Just like she did at the bar. It took an hour before I convinced myself to lie down. I finally drifted off sometime near dawn. I woke up to knocking. Soft, gentle knocking on my apartment door. 3 taps. I sat up fast, heart pounding. Sunlight was just starting to spill through my blinds. Another set of knocks. 3. Soft, rhythmic. I grabbed the nearest thing, a book, stupidly, and walked to the peephole. But the peephole was dark, like something was covering it from the other side. Slowly, I leaned in. The instant my eye touched the peephole, whatever was blocking it moved. A shifting blur. Something pale. Something right up against the door. I stumbled back. My phone buzzed from the counter. A text, unknown number. No name. You look better in the morning. Softer, less tight in the jaw. My throat closed. Another text. Let me in. I want to practice smiling with you. I didn't respond. Didn't breathe. The knocking stopped. Silence filled the apartment, thick and buzzing. Then, something slid under my door. Polaroid. I stared at it for a long time before picking it up. My hand shook so badly I almost couldn't hold it. It was a photo of me, taken from the hallway, standing in my doorway. The moment I looked through the peephole. Same posture, same expression, same messy hair. But here's the part that made my stomach drop. My reflection in the peephole was smiling, and I definitely wasn't. I called my sister. Begged her to come get me. She drove over in 20 minutes. I waited in the middle of my living room, far from the door, gripping a kitchen knife like it was a lifeline. When she arrived, I bolted into her car. We drove to her place. I tried explaining everything, but the more I talked, the more insane it sounded. A girl whose face barely moved. A smile that didn't change. Messages about blinking and eyebrows. A photo of me smiling when I wasn't. My sister listened, trying to make sense of it. You were probably exhausted, she said. Maybe she was just awkward. Maybe the photo was. No, I said. Someone was at my door. She put her hand on mine. We'll figure it out. Just breathe. I slept on her couch that night, or tried to, but around 2 a.m. my phone lit up. I hadn't heard it vibrate, but somehow it had a new notification. Another Instagram account trying to message me. Again, no profile picture. The preview text read, "Stop sleeping with your mouth open. It ruins the shape." I slowly turned my head toward the hallway mirror, across my sister's living room. The room was dark except for the glow from my phone. In the mirror, my reflection's mouth was closed, but mine wasn't. Could feel the cold air on my exposed teeth. I clamped my jaw shut instantly. The reflection followed. Half a second late, I shook my sister. "Awake, someone's watching us," I whispered. She sat up fast. "Where?" "I don't know. But look at the mirror." We stared at it together. Nothing. Just us. Tired, scared, paranoid. "It's okay," she said quietly. "We'll get rid of the mirror." She pulled it off the wall, set it face down, and we went back to bed. I slept with the lights on. No messages came the rest of the night. The next morning, my sister's roommate found something outside their front door, a small box. No label. Inside, colon 5 Polaroids. All of me. All taken within the past 24 hours. Me in the car with my sister. Me on her couch sleeping. Me brushing my teeth in her bathroom. Me grabbing something from the fridge. Me talking to my sister in the hallway. All taken from angles inside the apartment. All taken behind me. And in each photo, in the reflection of the nearest surface, a window. The fridge door. The microwave. My reflection was smiling. Even when I WSN single quotes to. Especially when I WASN single quotes D. The roommate screamed. My sister called the police. They searched everywhere. Found nothing. No signs of forced entry. No camera lenses. No fingerprints. But they did find something in the stairwell of the building. A smear of foundation makeup on the wall. Just the faintest hint of beige. The same shade Maya wore. And a long dark strand of hair. Too straight. Too glossy. Too synthetic. Like a wig fiber. The officers bagged it and left. I tried to feel better. I tried. But that night, we slept with the doors locked and the lights on. At 3:01 a.m. My phone buzzed again. No profile picture. Just one message. No threats. No commands. No photos. Just this: you blinked too much today. You're slipping. I can help you practice. I'm already inside. I shot upright. My sister stirred. What's wrong? Before I could answer, before I could breathe, the bedroom door slowly creaked open, and standing there in the dark was a shape. Tall, thin, hair falling forward, and a face perfectly still, perfectly smooth, perfectly smiling, too much like Maya, not enough like a person. I shouldn't have been on Tinder. Not so soon after losing her, but I couldn't sleep. It had been 7 months since her funeral. My chest still ached every time I rolled over and saw the empty side of the bed. People kept saying I needed to move on, like grief was a phase with a deadline. So yeah. One night, after a few drinks and too many silent hours alone, I downloaded the app again. I wasn't expecting anything. Definitely wasn't expecting her. The profile picture hit me like a punch. Dark hair, freckles, wide smile with slightly crooked teeth. The name, Emily. But it wasn't just a girl who looked like her. It was her. The photo was from our trip to Big Sur. She was standing on the cliff edge, laughing, her hoodie pulled tight around her face because of the wind. It wasn't a copycat. It was my photo, one I took. One I never posted anywhere. It had only existed in a shared album on my laptop. The one I hadn't opened since she died. My hands went cold. I clicked on the profile. No bio. Only 2 pictures, both from that trip. One of her on the cliff. The second of her asleep in the backseat of my car, head tilted, mouth slightly open. Sun cutting across her face. I'd never uploaded that picture anywhere. Ever. I swiped left. Heart pounding. I didn't want to see it again. Didn't want to know. I tried to close the app, but it froze. Then a message popped up. It's a match. I stared at it, shaking. Then came the message. Emily, I've missed you. I threw my phone across the room. Actually threw it. It clattered onto the hardwood and went dark. I stood there in the dark for a full minute, frozen. My chest felt like it had been ripped open. When I finally got the courage to pick up the phone, the screen had cracked. But the message was still there. I've missed you. I stared at it. My fingers hovered over the keyboard, shaking. Who is this? 3 dots appeared. Typing. Then, you don't recognize me? I felt dizzy. I sat down on the edge of the bed. This is cruel, I typed. She's dead. Typing again. I know. I was there. I dropped the phone again. I couldn't breathe. Couldn't think. My bedroom felt wrong. Like the air had changed. Too still. Too full. I forced myself to type again. What do you want? The reply came immediately. To talk. Just like we used to. I didn't respond. I deleted the app. Turned off my phone. Took a shower that lasted until the water ran cold. When I got out, I turned my phone back on, fully expecting the messages to be gone. They weren't. In fact, there were more, over a dozen, all from Emily. I saw you at the store last week. You look tired. You need to stop drinking. I liked the blue shirt. The one you wore on our anniversary. You still listen to our playlist. I can hear it. I read them all, heart thudding so hard I thought I'd throw up. Then the last message. You told me no one else would ever love me the way you did. Was that true? I hadn't told anyone I'd said that to her, not even in therapy. That was one of our last real fights. 2 weeks before the accident. She'd been pulling away, isolating, and I lashed out. Said something I couldn't take back. Now here it was, in black and white, the next day. I pulled out my old laptop and opened the shared photo album. Every picture that had been used in the Tinder profile was gone. Vanished. And in their place, new ones. Same locations, same clothes, but not ones I remembered taking. In one, she was looking directly at the camera, face blank, eyes wide, smile completely wrong. Not like her at all. In another, she was standing outside my apartment building, taken at night. Taken recently. I checked the metadata. Taken 2 days ago. My fingers went cold. I never told anyone where I'd moved. That night, I slept with every light on. Locked the bedroom door. Pushed a chair under the handle. I kept hearing sounds, not big ones. Just soft creaks. The kind old apartments make, but they were too rhythmic, too patient, like someone moving through the space slowly. Watching. At 2:47 a.m. I checked my phone again. New message, from a different number. No name. No profile pic. Do you want me to stop? I stared at it for a long time. Finally I typed, "Are you real?" Typing. Then, "More than you ever let me be. More than you ever let me be." I stared at that message, unable to blink. The room felt colder. Not just physically, emotionally. Like something had hollowed it out around me. I didn't respond. I couldn't. My brain kept trying to rationalize it. Someone hacked the photos. Someone stole the name. Some sick person was messing with me. But deep down, something darker was blooming in my chest, because this didn't feel like a prank. It felt personal. Like whoever was on the other side of the screen knew her. Not just how she looked, or the way she typed, or what she wore. They knew how she hurt. The next morning, I barely made it through work. I couldn't focus. My mind kept replaying everything. Our last fight, her funeral, the guilt, the silence, and now. This. That night, I went back through my old emails. I found the last voicemail she ever left me. It was short. "Hey. Just wanted to hear your voice. I'm not okay right now, but I don't want to talk. I just needed to say that. You don't have to call back." I'd never played it more than once. I couldn't handle it, but I played it now. And as soon as it ended, my phone buzzed. New text. "I still just want to hear your voice." I dropped the phone. That night I drank. Too much. I kept telling myself, if I blacked out, I wouldn't dream. But sometime around 3 a.m., I woke up stone sober. No sound. No lights. But I could feel it. Not a presence. A memory, thick in the air. Like heat trapped in a sealed car. I checked my phone. One new message. "I'm in the hallway." I nearly screamed. I grabbed a bat. From the closet, one I hadn't touched since college, and crept to the door. I didn't open it. Didn't even touch it. Just put my ear against the wood. Nothing. No footsteps. No breathing. No sound at all. Then my phone buzzed again. Closer. My heart dropped. I took a step back. Another. Then the door handle. JIGGLED. Once. Then stopped. I backed all the way into the kitchen. Hand shaking. Bat raised. No more messages came. I stayed awake until sunrise. In the daylight. I felt stupid. Hungover. Unstable. I told myself it was grief. Manifesting in some paranoid psychosis. So I did the most rational thing I could think of. I logged back into Tinder. The app had been wiped, reinstalled. Empty. No match history. No messages. No profile. No sign she'd ever existed. But there, in the discovery queue, her face. Same photo. The one from Big Sur, but the name was different this time. M. No bio. Just the photo. And the distance? 0 miles away. I swiped right. It matched instantly. Message came through a second later. "You're ready now." We can talk. But not here. Then an address. A GP's pin. I stared at it for a long time. That it was a public park. Middle of the day. Broad daylight. Something inside me said, don't go. But something else, something deeper said, you owe her. So I went. The park was half empty. I sat on a bench facing the lake, heart in my throat, trying not to look suspicious. 15 minutes passed. Nothing. Was just about to leave when I noticed something wedged into the wooden slats of the bench. A manila envelope. I pulled it out slowly. My name was written on the front. Inside. Photos. Hundreds of them. All of me. Some old back when Emily was alive. Selfies. Group shots. Candids I didn't know she'd taken. But the rest were recent. Me getting coffee. Me walking home from work. Me crying in the car. Me asleep, mouth open. Head tilted. And in the corner of one taken through the window of my apartment, her reflection. Behind me. Face blurry. Expression unreadable. Just watching. I ran. Didn't stop until I was home. Door locked, shades pulled. I deleted the apps. Reset my phone. Changed passwords. Blocked every number that had ever texted me. I even smashed my laptop for good measure. Then I went to the last place I ever wanted to go, her grave. I hadn't visited since the funeral. Couldn't. But now I had to. I stood there in the wind, dirt crunching beneath my shoes, and whispered, if it's you, please stop. No answer. No sound. Just a single flower. Recently placed, lying at the base of the headstone. Not wilted. Not weathered. Fresh. White. The kind she used to wear in her hair. That night, I slept with the lights on. Again. At 2:57 a.m. I woke up to a buzz. New number. Message. Check your email. I opened it. One new message. No sender. No subject. No text. Just an attachment. An audio file labeled for you. I played it. It was my voicemail. My own voice. From that last fight with her. The one I thought wasn't recorded. Me, yelling. Saying things I regretted. Saying I didn't want to be with someone who couldn't take care of themselves. That I felt like I was drowning. That I wished I'd met someone simpler. The exact words I've spent months trying to forget. And after that? Her voice. Crying. Then silence. Then a whisper. Now you'll know what it feels like. I stayed at a hotel that night. Cheap. Far away, booked under a fake name. Tried to sleep. Tried to breathe. Around 4 a.m. Someone knocked on my door. Softly. 3 slow knocks. I didn't answer. Just stared through the peepole. Nothing there. But when I looked again, I saw it. A shadow walking away. No footsteps. No sound. Just a long, slow drift down the hallway. And in its hand, a white flower. It's been 2 months. The messages have stopped. The apps are gone, but the guilt? That's still here. So is the feeling that something's still watching me. Not angry. Not violent. Just waiting. Sometimes I dream of her, but not how she was. Not warm. Not laughing. In the dreams, her face doesn't move. Her smile holds too long, and her voice comes from behind me. Never from her mouth. And she always says the same thing. You said no one would ever love me like you did. And now you're right. Because I'm still here. I knew something was wrong the second the car doors locked. Not clicked, shut locked. Like someone hit the button manually. The sound was too deliberate. Too loud in the silence between our flirty small talk and the soft hum of his car stereo. I was sitting in the passenger seat. Phone in hand, half drunk off 2 espresso martinis and the high of being flirted with for 2 hours straight. His name was Cam. Tall, lean, smooth voice. Kind of shy but confident in this low, slow way that made you lean in. We met on Tinder a week earlier. Messaged a few times. I checked his socials, nothing weird. He seemed normal. Better than normal, honestly. No love bombing. No oversharing. Just chill. Dinner was at a cozy little Thai spot downtown. He picked it, paid, made me laugh without trying too hard. The chemistry was real. So when he asked, "Want to come back to mine for a nightcap?" I said yes. I don't usually say yes, but this time. It felt different. It felt safe. Until the doors locked. At first, I didn't say anything, just glanced down at the little silver button next to the handle. Still pressed in. He noticed. "Oh, sorry." "It's a reflex," he said. "My neighborhood's kind of sketchy. I usually lock the doors when I drive." I nodded. Totally fair. But something about his tone was off. Like he'd rehearsed that answer. He didn't make eye contact when he said it. Still, I stayed. I smiled. I watched the city lights blur past us in the window. Then I realized we were headed in the wrong direction. He said he lived near the water. We were going inland. No traffic, no left turns, just a straight stretch into quieter, darker neighborhoods. I checked the GPS on my phone. No signal. "Reception's garbage over here," he said, not even glancing at me. "Dead zone. You'll have bars again in a sec." I forced a laugh. "Convenient." He finally looked at me, smiled. That same smile from dinner, but now it felt different. Too patient. Too calm. 10 minutes later, we were deep into a neighborhood I didn't recognize. No lights. No corner stores. Just long, empty streets with houses tucked too far back to see clearly. A few streetlights flickering like they were running out of breath. "Almost there," he said. Making a slow right turn. We passed a sign that said "dead end" in crooked lettering. My chest tightened. "Wait, this is a dead end?" I said, trying to sound light. "Yeah," he said. "My place is right at the bottom." No humor in his voice. Just information. Matter of fact. We slowed down as we reached the end of the street. No houses visible. Just trees. And a gravel lot up ahead, partly swallowed by darkness. "This is it?" I asked. No answer. He pulled into the gravel lot and parked. Turned off the engine. Silence. That's when I noticed he hadn't turned on any headlights when we pulled in. We were sitting in total darkness. No lights from nearby houses. No porch lights. No glow from the dashboard. Just pitch black and silence. Then he spoke, quiet and low. "You're really trusting, you know that?" My stomach dropped. "What?" He turned toward me, eyes still soft, still smiling. "I mean, getting in a stranger's car. Letting them take you somewhere you've never been. Turning off your location." My voice cracked. "How do you know my location's off?" He smiled wider. "You said it yourself." No signal. I reached for the door handle. Pulled it, still locked. I reached across and hit the unlock button. Nothing happened. He leaned closer. "It only works from my side. Sorry." I pulled out my phone. Still no bars. Still no W-I-V. Just a screen full of useless icons. He tapped the steering wheel. Almost playfully. "You're not the first person I've brought back here." My blood turned to ice. I whispered, "What?" He didn't answer, just opened his door and got out. His footsteps crunched in the gravel as he walked around the front of the car. I reached for the horn. It didn't work. Dashboard was dead. No power. He'd killed the battery. I panicked. Climbed into the back seat. Clawed at the other door. Locked. Tried the window. Wouldn't budge. He tapped on the passenger window. Not hard. Just softly. Like a knock. Then he walked back toward the trees. Disappeared into the dark. Was alone in the car. Alone with my heartbeat in my ears and a phone that couldn't save me. For a moment, I considered smashing the window. But I didn't even have anything heavy. So I did the only thing I could do. I waited. Curled in the back seat. Eyes on the shadows. Listening. Barely breathing. Every now and then, I swore I saw movement in the woods. A flicker of a shape. A glint of eyes, but nothing came close. Not yet. It was almost 20. Minutes before I heard the driver's door open again, he got back in casually. No rush. Held something in his hand, a cloth, and something that looked like tape. I wasn't going to hurt you, he said quietly. I didn't move. He looked at me in the rearview mirror. But you got scared. And when people get scared, they get loud. I pressed against the backseat door. Shaking, he reached toward the ignition. Started the engine. The lights came back on. Radio kicked in soft jazz like nothing was wrong. Then he smiled. Let's go back to mine. He put the car in. Drive like nothing had happened. Like I wasn't. Curled in the back seat. Pressed against the door like a cornered animal. Like he wasn't holding a cloth and tape in his lap. I wanted to scream. But I couldn't. Because he was right. If I screamed, and no one was around to hear it, what then? He glanced at me through the mirror. You're quiet now. I didn't speak. I was planning. Every second. Every breath. Watching his movements. Thinking through options. If I could stall. If I could run. If I could survive. He drove slowly, back down the dead-end street, turning off the jazz. Silence filled the car again. Thick. Press dash and dot. We took a right. Then another. Onto a dirt road I hadn't even noticed before. The trees pressed closer. The road got narrower. No lights. No signs. Then I saw it. A house, if you could call it that. More like a cabin, wooden. Rotting, half swallowed by the forest. One porch light glowed like it was dying. He parked behind it, engine off. Then he looked back at me. You can come willingly. Or I can carry you. But we're not sitting here all night. I stared at the door lock. He saw. You're gonna try something, he said, almost amused. They always do. Then he added, but if you run, just know this place eats sound. No one's gonna hear you out here. He stepped out, left his door open, walked around the car again, and I moved. Fast. Jumped into the front seat. Slammed the lock, and reached for the driver's side door. He saw it coming, yanked the handle before I could even reach it. We wrestled. Hands tangled, him halfway inside. I screamed. Raw and loud, but it felt like it got sucked straight into the woods. He reached for the gear shift. I slapped his hand away, then. Instinct, pure panic took over. I bit him. Hard. Right on the forearm. He howled. Pulling back, I slammed my foot on the gas. Not even knowing if the car would move, but it lurched forward, tires kicking gravel. Door still open. I drove blind. Branches scraped the sides of the car. One smacking the open door and slamming it shut. My heart beat so loud it drowned out the engine. I didn't stop, didn't look back, didn't breathe until I hit pavement. I didn't know where I was, didn't care. Just kept driving until I saw lights. A gas station. I pulled in fast, stumbled out. Ran inside like my legs were jelly. The guy behind the counter looked up, startled. I didn't wait. Just screamed, call the police. The cops took hours. By the time they found the cabin, it was empty. No sign of him, but they found things I wish I hadn't asked about. Rope, tape, a mattress on the floor, a phone with a folder full of selfies, girls in cars, half smiling, half scared. Some I recognized from news reports later. Some were never reported missing. The car he used had stolen plates. Registered to a different state. His identity? Fake. The Tinder profile? Gone. He was a ghost. A perfectly polite, well-dressed, charming ghost with a plan. It's been months. I changed apartments. Changed cities. Changed my number. But I still use Tinder. Not to match. Not anymore. Now. I use it to watch. To check. To make sure he doesn't show up again. And 2 nights ago, I saw a familiar face, same jawline, same eyes, new name, new bio. And in his first photo, he's in a car. Smiling. With an empty passenger seat beside him. And the caption says, "Let's go for a drive."